What's going on, guys? Evan the Xenogears Enthusiast here, bringing you another Dark Souls gameplay commentary for the Xbox 360. This will be part 7 of my Elly installment of videos where I walk you through this character's developmental life cycle, through the acquisition of powerful artifacts or weapons, the customization of spells, and ultimately just go through all the major areas of the game and the bosses, cutting out some of the more boring parts with editing, and ultimately at the end of the day we'll in this character's life cycle, and my life cycle commentating her as a level 120, 125-ish PvP character. We have a little bit of time here. In this video we're going to be, it's like a 15-minute video-ish. We're going to be going through the depths here. You got this key after defeating the Capra demon in the last video. This time we're going to go get the large Ember, We're going to get the large Ember, and we're going to also get the Pyromancy's Flame, because if you weren't a Pyromancer, you of course did not start with a Pyromancy Flame, and this was how you get the first one available to you in the game. Well, one of the first ones. There's 2 available to all characters. You can get 2 as all characters, and 3 if you start with 1. You really don't need more than 1 unless you're hoping to trade with Snuggly the Crow. Arguably, you can get 1 earlier in Blight Town, but this is much more practical. Unless you're using the Master Key to go some really strange areas early, in terms of practicality, the Depths is where you'll get your first Pyromancy's Flame if you're not a Pyromancer. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. Right now, this content, we have more time than we really need. There's going to be a little bit of backtracking in this video to get back to Firelink Shrine, because most NPCs you rescue will eventually wind up back at Firelink Shrine, short of a few, so while I grind out all the zombies and stuff down here through the depths, I'll talk a little bit about how the Pyromancy Flame works and how to ascend weapons, because some people actually struggle with how to do this, so it's not hard, but if you're not looking it up online, it can be hard. Or if you don't play this game at all and you are just sort of watching this commentary because you enjoy my style, which I appreciate, then I'll go ahead and walk you through that as well. First, the Pyromancy's Flame. You purchase Pyromancer spells from 3 different vendors. It works just like magic in that, you know, you just purchase spells. There's no customization of spells. This isn't like Elder Scrolls Morrowind, like they're pre-built spells in the game with set damages and things like that. And you buy Pyromancy spells from the Pyromancy Trainers, of course. There's 3, arguably 4. The first one is the gentleman you'll see ahead in this video, Latorius, I believe his name is, or yeah, Latorius of the Great Swamp will be the first. Ooh, the Butcher. These guys are cool. I love the Butcher. The Cook, the Giant Cook. He's pretty awesome. He's not hard at all. This is one of those enemies that I think is just more for show. He's really slow, so you can kite him and cut him down. For those of you not familiar with the term kiting, it is to strike and back out of attacks, basically to zone him out, if you're a fighting game fan. Anyway, you can stagger him if you beat him a lot between attacks. Everything he has is blockable, nothing's unblockable. He's susceptible to backstabs, and he often drops the sack helmet, which is just really funny. Up in this treasure chest ahead is the large Ember, which of course allows you to ascend equipment to +10 rather than just +5. In this chest right here. And we'll get to how that works a little later. But, as I was saying, with the Pyromancy Flames, you buy the spells from the trainers. That's pretty self-explanatory, and you equip them in attunement slots just like you would magic. Magic, Miracles, and Pyromancy all share the same attunement slots, so they don't get like separate categories. In case you were wondering, you have to share them all amongst your magic. That's what, there's not a whole lot of point in learning like high-level magic and high-level Miracles, because really you won't have enough attunement slots to carry all of them unless you're going to max level anyway. Here he is. When you free these guys, this is the Pyromancy Trainer, when you free these people, because a lot of people you need to rescue are like trapped in barrels for whatever reason, when you want to free them, don't strike the barrel with your sword. The spacing is really difficult to get right, and if you hit them, sometimes they'll hostile you and you'll have to pay to get your sins absolved with Oswald the Partner. In case you didn't know, I know accidents happen. If you happen to strike an NPC you didn't mean to strike, or something to that effect, Oswald the Partner up in the Undead Parish where you rang the first Bell of Awakening, or at least in these videos where I rang my first Bell of Awakening, he can pardon your sins, and that will pardon you for striking another NPC, and they'll become non-hostile again and things like that. It's a pretty expensive service, so try not to put yourself in that situation. Once you talk to him, you're good to go. He'll go back to Firelink Shrine, everything will be okay, and that's where he'll give you a Pyromancy Flame and say the Pyromancy spells. I talked about how attunement slots work, etc. Pyromancy, the other Pyromancy trainers, there's one in Blighttown Swamp, Quilina, I believe her name is. Yes, Quilina. She is the last member of the Daughters of Chaos who's not mutated into like a giant monster. She is the most powerful trainer in the game, and she is also the one that can ascend your Pyromancy Flame to the next level, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But suffice it to say, she is the vendor of most of the high-end spells. She's pretty much where you take your Pyromancy to the next level. However, she won't appear in Blighttown until, and that's where she is actually, is the Blighttown Swamp, which is the most annoying place ever to have to go talk to somebody. You have to get your Pyromancy Flame to either +10, or you have to be late in the game. I believe after you have the Lord Vessel and you've defeated her sister, then she'll appear and she'll vend for you. It's easier just to upgrade your Pyromancy Flame to +10 because you're going to use the Pyromancy equipment. You need to upgrade it, and a little more on that once again later. I'm kind of having sequency issues here because there's a lot to say. Oh, and you can clearly parry the cooks as well. Alrighty, so she sells the high-end spells, and she also upgrades your equipment to the high-end. Then the last vendor is NG. He's like an Egbert dude. He'll give you your second Pyromancy Flame. He's right after Blighttown. He's a member of the Daughters of Chaos. More about them in another later video. But he sells a couple spells, and just one little FYI, the Chaos Servants, they have the Covenant-specific Pyromancy spells. They're the only Covenant that has Pyromancy spells, and they're pretty good spells. I don't think anyone really needs them, but you know, if you're strictly a Pyromancer, you're trying to roleplay a Pyromancer, Daughters of Chaos is what you want to join. Alright, with that said, upgrading Pyromancy is simple. The glove that you receive, called the Pyromancy's Flame, you'll see it at the end of this video, it's just a glove that you equip. It's just like a talisman or a wand. And to upgrade the damage on your Pyromancy spells, you just upgrade the glove. And you see these things here, they're annoying, they're not dangerous at all. They're in my Farming the Depths video. Susceptible to fire, that's pretty much the only quick way I know of to kill them. But anyway, as I was saying, upgrading the Pyromancy's Flame is the only way, I repeat, the only way to upgrade the damage of your Pyromancy spells. I emphasize that because several of my friends, as well as people on message boards, seem to have a hard time grasping that. I understand why. Boosting your intelligence does not increase the damage of your Pyromancy. Boosting your strength does not increase the damage of your Pyromancy. Nothing you boost increases the damage of your Pyromancy. It's not stat related. It's completely independent of your stats. Now, once you get an Ascended Pyromancy Flame, it's going to say that it scales with intelligence. That is only the punch, because when you have like a talisman or something like that, your R2 attack becomes to punch with it, which is never worth doing really, unless it's a desperation, like you're about to get hit and you're trying to punch somebody out of their attack, which probably still isn't a good idea, but it will. The Pyromancy's glove will actually scale your intelligence for the punch damage, but it will not increase the spell damage. In other words, what I'm saying is if you're concerned about using Pyromancy and only Pyromancy, do not upgrade your intelligence. In fact, don't ever upgrade your intelligence unless you're actually going to use magic, because that's the only thing it's good for. And here's, of course, the first bonfire in the depths. Pretty easy to get to if you have a master key. Even if not, I'll show you where to actually get the key to this door in this video. Upgrading your Pyromancy's Flame can actually be done with any of the Pyromancy spell vendors I mentioned earlier. They can, 2 of the 3 upgrade it all the way to +15, which is an extremely expensive endeavor, by the way. And once it gets to +15, you can take it to Quilina and Blighttown, who I previously mentioned, and upgrade it to level 0 Ascended, like Ascended Pyromancy. +15 Pyromancy's Flame changes to Ascended Pyromancy's Flame, then that goes all the way up to +5 Pyromancy's Ascended Pyromancy's Flame, and that's where you stop. So +15 at any vendor ever, you do the last 5 levels with Quilina, or just come with like 300,000 souls, because just to upgrade your glove from 1 to +5 Ascended is like just over 300,000 souls, like 3.5, so really, really expensive. I mean, it's worth it. It trivializes a lot of boss fights, and it's great early game if you're getting invaded by griefers, because there'll probably be glass cannons. A lot of low-level PvPers come in with like +5 lightning weapons and try to just blow you out, and they're not expecting you to blast them for like, you know, 1k off your Pyromancy, so that's just a little FYI. But it's a very expensive endeavor, and that's, you know, 3.5-ish 300,000 plus just to upgrade the thing. That doesn't cost the expensive spells, which are usually a couple thousand souls a piece for each spell, so it's a really costly thing to upgrade. And that pretty much wraps up the Pyromancy's Flame. My choice spells are the Greater Fireballs and the touch spells, like the Inferno, Greater Inferno. That's not Inferno, I'm sorry. Ignite. Combustion. Got it. Combustion. Combustion and Greater Combustion are easily the best pyro spells. They're like melee range, high damage fire touches. They're the best. The firestorms and stuff like that, like the big AoE stuff, it looks cool, but it's completely impractical. I just grabbed the Spider Shield that's necessary for Blighttown because it's a shield that blocks status effects, like it blocks poison arrows and stuff like that. Always worth having. The Giant Rat here, he's a nothing. Just drop down, two-handing your weapon. If it's a Drake Sword, it'll kill him instantly. Any weapon's going to take him to low life. Then you can just block his attacks and beat him down like that. Always drops a Humanity, which is convenient. Failing that, you can always run away from him. You can run anywhere out of this room. He's too big to chase you anywhere. The key I just grabbed back there is what opens the key to the bonfire door. But I opened it with my master key because, you know, I'm cool and I like to abuse the game and stuff like that. Now the video is going to cut out back to the Firelink Shrine. I decided to edit out my run back to Firelink. I don't think you guys are missing too much. Here he is in Firelink, the Pyromancy vendor. So he's a really cool guy. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. Looks like we're out of time, and I'm not going to be able to adequately discuss Embers. Maybe I'll do a video just on that, in a slower video where I just talk about Embers and how to upgrade stuff. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah, sorry, I know I said in this video I discussed how upgrading like weapons works, but I got kind of bogged down trying to explain the pyromancy system. I got a little verbose. I think I over-explained something that's really simple. So I guess since now I have a little time, because I don't need to budget for the explanation of the Embers, I'll give you the quick rundown on pyromancy. 3 vendors, 2 essential vendors. This guy right here, you see in this video, Quelina in Blighttown. Once your Pyromancy's Flame is plus 10. You can upgrade your Pyromancy Flame up to plus 15 at any vendor. Upgrading your Pyromancy's Flame increases the spell damage. There is no other way to increase Pyromancy spell damage other than upgrade the Pyromancy Flame, Pyromancer's Flame. And Quelina in Blighttown will ascend it to, will ascend your Pyromancy's Flame at plus 15. She ascends it, and then it goes all the way up to plus 5, and that's where it stops. No more. The spells are very expensive. The spells are very good. Combustion and Greater Combustion are probably the best. The Fireballs are good too for player versus engine. And in conclusion, it's a very expensive process. Worth every soul, because any character can use Pyromancy. It doesn't cost you any stat investment. This is just one of those things to keep in mind. Like, I recommend when you're going to upgrade your Pyromancy's Flame, just upgrade it when you have the souls laying around, or if you're doing something specific, like I'm specifically upgrading it, like I'm basically powering it, do it all at once, that way you don't have to backtrack to Blighttown. If you're trying to upgrade things before you have the Lord Vessel, you want to bring everything you need just to upgrade it in one fell swoop. You'll see me upgrading my Pyromancy's Flame right here. See, it's a very, very costly endeavor, and it's just going to get more expensive when I actually have to ascend it. That pretty much concludes the discussion of Pyromancy's Flame. If anyone has any questions, put them in the comments. I've tried to be really verbose in my explanation to make it as clear as I possibly can. See, he can't go any higher. Plus 15 is his highest, so now I have to go to Quelina and Blighttown to finish it off, but that'll be in a later video. Anyway, guys, I'm going to homeward back to the bonfire, and my next installment is just going to be grinding through the depths like an idiot, because I'll probably show you my journey through the depths despite the fact I've already got a gameplay farming video. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll take my bow. Everyone have a great holiday, and, see y'all later. I hope you enjoy the content.